So why should WordPress developers care about learning JavaScript?
Sure. I think the big picture answer is most interactions now and interactive elements, whether in the admin area or on the front of the site, run on JavaScript. So at a high level, that's really important. The relevancy, I think, particularly now is that we're seeing the process of Gutenberg, which people forget is not just the editor redesign, but also the customizer and more of the admin area. And in not too long, we're going to see most things running with JavaScript that you would hook into maybe with PHP or do a little bit differently in the past. So in order to do things, it's almost going to become required in certain ways.
And what do you think is the future of WordPress and JavaScript?
Oh dear, I don't know. I think the immediate future is going to be focused on making things more pleasing to design and build with, right? The content creation process. I think that over time, what we'll see with WordPress sites and on the front end leveraging JavaScript is more intelligence. So the ability to pull into all this data you might have about customers and design interactions and experiences and websites even around that.
And Gutenberg is, I would say, the most discussed topic in WordPress, and it's going to be like that for the next time. So what will the introduction of Gutenberg mean for developers working with WordPress?
Sure. Well, the fun thing I found in doing a Gutenberg course and having people go through it that have very little JavaScript experience, right? They know some jQuery and they have no React experience, is that I thought it would be a lot harder to get up and running with Gutenberg development. I thought, you'd have to know all your JavaScript deeply, of course, and know how to build with React. But really, you could come in and they've built it in such a way that you don't even know that it's React. So you could learn how to build a basic block, for example, and not realize like, oh, I just did some React coding. And so the introduction to it for a lot of folks is going to be maybe creating their own custom block and that sort of thing from a development perspective. But for a lot of users, a lot of WordPress people never built their own custom shortcode, right? Because plugins existed. So that will solve it for a lot of folks. But at the same time, right now, there's a big avenue of Gutenberg blocks and those type of plugins that can be built, and the market is kind of getting shaken up around that a little bit.
And you already mentioned React. So the topic of your workshop at the WordCamp Europe was Gutenberg block development with React. Could you please explain how does React work inside of WordPress and what are the benefits of using it?
Sure. So React is actually a quite simple library, and to oversimplify it along with this library JSX, it allows you to basically write HTML markup right in your JavaScript. And so it's really helpful for creating user interfaces, because in the past with JavaScript, that was quite a laborious process and you had to either write a bunch of JavaScript or use another framework. So to build user interfaces and stuff with React, like at one level, you'll just be like, oh, I'm writing HTML markup. That's familiar and easy to use. But it also handles interactions and like what happens when I click this or go in here or type this data. And that stuff is written in a React way, but it's all just basic JavaScript. So event handlers and things like that and API calls are all going to be basic. And that's kind of, I think, the core of it. And again, WordPress does this in a way that you don't really even need to know that you're using React, because they call it WP element instead, or something else that now has like a WordPress name.